The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Real Pickles, a worker-owned cooperative in Greenfield producing organic fermented vegetables sourced from Northeast farms. More information at realpickles.com.
Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte. Later in the show, Live Music Friday with the dance-forward sounds of rival galaxies.
And we'll meet the couple behind the production incubator Spirit Blah and learn about their residency and exhibit at APE Gallery, How to Bear the Unbearable Body.
And the Wine Thunderdome sidesteps into whiskey at Provisions on Crafts Ave in Northampton for the last time there.
Because they are moving into Thorns. And the one thing that you'd want to do for all of this is look good.
And one surprise about Western Mass is that it is incredibly style-forward.
We should show off about you a lot, okay? So I want you guys to know that. But you guys do an awesome job. We tell people everywhere we go, and my team goes back to the Caribbean and boasts about New England Public Radio.
Oh,
and the way we frame it, because in our region it is the BBC. So the way we frame it is that it is the equivalent of BBC, because really it is. It is grounded in fairness, news, diversity, but you get it like it is. It doesn't feel like a corporate kind of spiel.
What a ringing endorsement that we didn't ask for. We appreciate it.
I do it purposely because we're part of a village, and to make this happen, it takes all of us.
Yes.
Fab Passion Fashion Week New England is here again. A 3-day event in Springfield, October 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Fab Passion Fashion Week.
It's easier to say Fab Passion Fashion Week than FPFWNA.
Yes.
Because even me, who has created the name, I find the acronym is a little piffy.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and you can just say Fab Passion Week. Jerry does it a lot, and it sounds cool because it's the same. It's the same.
It's easier.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Fab Passion Week is a unique annual high fashion event that rebrands Springfield as a vibrant fashion gateway and a major cross-cultural destination at the heart of Western Mass. It brings multicultural fashion influencers to new audiences and elevates diversity in fashion and in New England's arts and culture.
And we are joined by Fab Passion Fashion Week's founder, Richie Richardson, from Western Mass and New York and Trinidad and Tobago. As well as casting director Jerry Jordan Brown, who's part of Brooklyn Fashion Week and New York Fashion Week and beyond, and brings those talents here to Fab Passion Fashion Week in Springfield. Welcome back. We're
Thank
so
you
glad
so
to
much
have
for
you.
having us.
Thank you for having us again.
It's awesome to talk about it every year because you get different designers, which means that the show is going to be entirely different every year, as it should be.
Yes.
And it means that we get to look at different aspects of both the community and of the fashion world at the same time.
Absolutely.
Fashion in itself is so alive because every time you see it, every time you produce it, every time you engage in it, you invite new people in. You invite new people who didn't see themselves as designers, which is happening this year, which happens every year. But this year is very interesting because one of the things we embody is the whole idea of helping people emerge out of their shyness. People who have been creating for a lifetime, the tailors, the seamstresses, we know those people. Monty, you know those people.
Yes.
Incredible crafters and makers. But for some reason, because they've never carried the mantle of a designer, they don't feel that they should own that. So what we do is that we help them. We bring them out of that shadow and we give them a space and a platform to present their work in a manner that they have never seen their work before. So just that revelation, that sense of ascendance to who they are changes them. It doesn't mean that they won't be the seamstress or tailor anymore because that's still their daily profession. But what we now give them is the opportunity to see themselves differently. One of those people was sitting in the audience last year.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Tell us that story.
And the woman, right after the show was done, her name is Loretta Mumford. Right after the show was done, she came up to me and she said, "This was amazing. I am going to have a collection next year." And I said, this is why we do this, to inspire you. This year, the woman was not just preparing, she was ready. Her collection is done, ready, delivered.
It's ready. Yeah.
Now, that is awesome because a lot of seasoned designers tend to be very late.
We've seen movies about that where people show up like they've got the pieces, they're like working on the pieces.
Right.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not so much in working out the pieces. It is so much they have to show the decisions to make, the curation process, which is where Richard and Jerry comes in more than anything else. But so she was ready. And to us, that is our mission. That is who we are. To find for someone to see themselves in a high fashion, because we do high fashion. For someone to see themselves in that frame and say, I can be there.
Yeah.
That is the essence of what we do.
We're talking about Fab Passion Fashion Week, which returns to Springfield this October 24th, 25th with founder Richie Richardson and Jerry Jordan Brown, who is one of the event producers and works with the big fashion shows in New York City.
Yes.
Tell us about the differences and similarities between what you're seeing in the pool of talent in Springfield, Massachusetts versus New York City.
Well, there's a difference because New York is known as the fashion capital.
Yeah. David Bowie's not necessarily going to be sitting front row in Springfield as much as I wish he could be.
I mean,
Yes.
he would be a zombie at
Yes.
this point.
Even cooler.
Both New York and LA,
Yeah.
for the fashion. So you find that everyone is wanting to come to New York to be a model or to be a designer for the exposure that they will receive while living in that city. Coming to Springfield, it really opened my eyes, and I say that this is a place that really could become a fashion center. Yes. So my vision for this season is having local community inclusion and bold self-expression with an eclectic mix of designers, as well as a diverse group of models that will reflect a movement to blend high-end fashion and accessibility and grassroots creativity. So that is my vision for this season.
I love it. Richie, can I divulge what you sent me privately in an email about asking for a band?
Go right ahead.
You know, we're talking about diversity and adding diversity to this. Richie said, I want to add more diversity to Springfield Passion Fashion Week. Do you know any white bands that can come and play? And I was like, this is the greatest question. And I'm so honored that you asked me about that.
And the reason I can ask that is because I'm from a different region of the world. So we speak about race with ease, without any. And to simplify it, one of the reasons we love here, Springfield in particular, it has this center of diversity. Everybody is here, and a lot of those people are part of it. But we had no white faces. We had no white brothers and sisters in the lineup. And my wife, in her own wisdom, said to me, we're talking about diversity. We need to add some color. And so I reached out to Monty, and I also reached out to other people. So we have the diversity.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
We have Kenny Butler.
Oh, yes.
For Montague and Steve Alves. And they are going to be doing something called Chimes of Freedom, the Dylan Project. Now, who doesn't love Dylan? I mean, it couldn't get better than this. Monty, I knew if you had come through, you would have come through, because it's not only that Monty knows everyone, but everyone knows Monty. So, Monty, that's why I reached out to you.
I appreciate
you understand
that.
that.
I love it.
Okay? You're like
facts.
You're like the voice of God.
No.
So
But I'm going to turn that into the ringtone on my phone.
And you understood the assignment.
Yes.
so the entertainment is rich because we have Kenny and Steve, and we have this Latino artist that we found called Mass Double. Oh my goodness. We listened to that man's music, and his story is also riveting because he is now emerging out of a personal crisis. So his song Motivation is about that, very deep. His music is amazing. We are probably going to have an African musician and a reggae singer as well. So that fills out. Now, Fashion Week doesn't necessarily have entertainment, but we are Caribbean people. And we also come from the land of carnival. We come from the land where we understand how to revel in opera, in music. And so everything for us is a celebration, hence the theme. And the theme came out of conversations we were having last year at the end of Fashion Week. And we were talking about the whole concept of colonization and Columbus and that whole thing about the discovery. So we think of ourselves in the Caribbean and in the African diaspora as the New World people, because the old world didn't know us, but we had already discovered the old world. And when they finally discovered us, then they thought they had discovered us. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But we knew about them. We told them how to get to us. This is actually a fact. So we thought it was a really cool terminology to use, New World Fashion. So I crafted that as the theme. And we're going along and we're building, and then the year began. And the politics of the moment started to feel really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't hearing the ebullience in people. Everything was becoming so heavy. And I wanted to find something to remind people that the best in us is us. The best in us is among us. All that we have, all that we bring together. When we start our day, when we go back home to our families, we are not taking dread there. We want to unite, we want to talk, we want to share with our neighbor. We want to celebrate our ebullience. And what does fashion do best? When you go to a fashion show, you feel like, oh my goodness, I could be that model. You could be fat so, you could be skinny so, it makes no difference. Because you wear clothing, and when you wear clothing, you're making a statement about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to share this and say, we are bringing the world of talent to you. And we bring in this cast and team of people all in this space for one reason, to celebrate everything that we are. Hence the theme, celebration.
Especially talking about like carnival, like spectacle is community
Yes, yes.
in those
yes.
cases.
Absolutely.
Like, you have these giant celebrations, but they are at their core like a way to connect with your neighbors.
Yes, yes.
At the core, that is what it is. It's about community, celebrating.
And I'd like to add a little to that. I think that fashion is a unique form of self-expression influenced by an individual's identity, emotions, values, and life experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at my sweater.
Yes. Yes.
And both of you are making the fashion statements
Of
about
course.
the way you dress.
Yeah,
Yes,
everybody does, whether they
everybody
think
does.
about it or
Right.
not.
It's your
Every-
self-expression.
Yeah,
Right?
some people think about it more
Absolutely.
than others, but yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
I pick and choose when I think about it harder.
I often think about it. Shameless plug. Tonight, I'll be at UMass dressed as two witches from Wicked and doing my own makeup, so it'll be very fashionable.
And that is fashion in the exaggerated form. It's costume.
Fab Passion Fashion Week, October 24th, 25th, 26th in Springfield. Tell us some of the events that are surrounding this. We heard some of the entertainment. We heard some of the stories about the designers that we're bringing in.
Yeah, because you have 3 days of things going on for this.
Oh, so I'll tell you something about the 3 days. The 3 days was this idea that we wanted to celebrate mature models, which is something that all of us are in so many ways. Not just the fashion model on a runway. Our idea were the models, the people we know.
Yeah.
The models, the people we know in our community who has always looked great. You know those people. Every time you see them, they look fly.
Kari and Jerry.
Kari and Jerry?
Yes.
Richie Richardson?
Right? You know what I mean?
Oh, I do.
Always. Always.
Kaylin.
Always.
Kaylin
Kaylin
Marcel
Marcel
Manson.
Manson.
And yes, and myself, because I don't step out unless I represent me. Okay? But I know so many of those people, and I come from that influence. And we wanted to say, when you have reached that stage of a young model in your 30s, most of the time you think that, well, there's nothing for me because I now have children. But that maturity that you have brought is what sells. Because you understand who you are now. You have framed yourself. You're no longer getting there. You are there. You have family experience. You have work experience. But you're still this essence, this person. When you walk out, people say, my goodness, where did you get that? Sometimes the cheapest thing, you know. You know, sometimes it's something you take out of your wardrobe, but the way you put it together. So we wanted to sort of like emphasize that and tell people that we need to celebrate all that we are in this journey of life. We got a lot of excitement and talked to a lot of friends, older friends, and everybody was excited. 2 people signed up.
Yeah.
You can't have that.
Fair.
So now they're going to be in the premium show, so we had to cut that. So it's going to be a big premium show.
Yeah.
Lots of designers.
So they still will be seen.
They still will be seen.
The ones who, you know.
So tonight is going to be the meet and greet. And what we do different in the meet and greet this year that you didn't see last year was this year, Jerry and Richard is going to curate the event in such a way that select models will wear designer pieces. So the models, so you get a preview
Yes.
of what you get tomorrow. So we're going to have some speeches. We have our Consul General who is going to come up. We have a representation from the Mayor's office. We have Representative Bud Williams is going to be there as well. And we are going to have our host, Alicia Cutting, who's going to be in the house tonight and tomorrow. And she's going to be wearing probably one of my pieces, or another designer, but I would prefer the dresser, right?
Of course.
Naturally. But tonight is for those folks who have, is by invitation only, but we're not going to turn you down if you come. You know what I mean?
We have members of the public that will be there.
Tomorrow night is really the high element
Yes,
show.
absolutely. Yes, it is.
12, 13 designers.
Yes.
We have a cast of models that is absolutely
Yes.
amazing this year.
I was... There they were, standing, and everybody smiling, and I'm like, oh my Lord, I feel... And all these are members of the community. I was really blown away. When we started the rehearsal, they were in tune with everything that was taught to them by Richard Young, who is the creative director.
Right.
Yeah, so between myself and Richard, the casting and the directing, the audience.
That is why we want you guys to see it, not to sound as though we are. The reason being is that when you go to a fashion show, generally it's a straight runway,
Right.
which is ideal. The community music school provides an entirely different environment. So we were able to use the environment itself and craft the show. And we experimented with it last year, and it worked. It
worked
worked
really
so well that now we have something, and that's going to be our home for Fashion Week, because you need a home. But one of the things that people are going to experience as well is that we have something like 13 designers. I need to give these designers a shout out, because we have local designers this year. When I say local, regional. And for us, that is like everything.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to bring designers, believe me. That's what we know. Those are the people we can bring internationally. But we really want to connect with the people here. We can go in the Sahara and do this. But when we get to the Sahara Desert, we need the community to come. Otherwise, we just 4 people standing in the Sahara with sand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
So everything that you do, everything that we do is this: come and be part of it. This is, it cannot work. Life is a collaboration. Fashion in itself is a collaboration. And even people who don't think they're collaborating, you really don't live on this planet, because when you get into your car to drive, you are collaborating with the other person. Otherwise, it will be madness on the road. You collaborate all the time.
Yes.
You stand in the grocery line, you don't run in front of the other person. So we do it all the time. So just think about it in a very intentional way. So tonight, tomorrow, you have to come. You cannot miss this opera. This is an opera of fashion.
I love it.
People have not experienced what we do. And I'm not saying that to be boastful. I'm saying that because we know this. What we do it our way. Our model is not the European model. I'm saying this respectfully. Our model comes from us. It is our authentic stories that we tell. Everybody tells stories, and we are well educated to tell everybody else's story. Well, we can tell that story too, but we are well educated and well informed to tell our story, which is a universal story.
You can hear the passion.
We use fashion to frame
Of
that.
the
That's why
I
it's
love it.
Fab, passion, fashion week.
Get your tickets. We have 2 levels: regular, general admission,
Yes.
and VIP.
Yes.
And VIP, we treat you like kings and queens, which is
Of
what
course,
you are.
VIP always is. That's why it's called VIP.
And we're also going to give you Caribbean food. And we have some cater. You guys have to come. I keep saying this because we experience it, but I want you to just pop in.
Yes.
Monty gave us his grace last year, so we know Monty will try, but we know Khalees is a busy woman.
Yes.
Please. You are going to taste Caribbean rum punch and some Caribbean food that will change your life. Fashion Week don't feed people and they don't drink people. They don't do that. But for us, it is our entire cultural experience that we want you to experience the way we do what we do, to bring you into a different space that will inform you in ways that you never thought you can be informed by fashion, because fashion is always seen as flaky. You know, but there's a lot of solid, grounded people in this industry, like any other industry, and we want to expose you to that. So come, get your ticket, or come at the door. It's fine. If you have the bus ticket, you can still ride. Right? Come.
Richie Richardson and Jerry Jordan Brown from Springfield Fab Passion Fashion Week. Thank you. It's always a delight to have you both
Thank
in
you.
the studio
Always a
here.
pleasure.
You are both an inspiration.
Thank
Can
you
I
so
do
much.
one more thing here, because I feel as though I left some very important people out, and that's the designers, because without them,
There would be no show.
okay.
And without the models as well. So they're an integral part of this production. So we have Sonia Noel. She's one of the designers. Elizabeth Lucas, Elizabeth Daniel, Mark Easton, Sheldon Warner, Dominique LaRoche, Sharon Cox Cole, Debbie Cates, right here from
From Greenfield,
yes, Loretta Munford,
Kadichi,
Kadichi Couture Designs. Yes, and if I forgot
Robert Young, the cloth,
Robert Young, the cloth. Yes.
and Richie Richardson.
And Richie Richardson.
And you can see some of the Instagram pages of some of these designers through the links on
Yes.
Fab Passion Fashion Week's website, and it is like, these things are gorgeous.
They are gorgeous.
Yeah.
And one other thing, we can fit anyone. Those designers create in different sizes and ranges. So the model core reflects that as well.
Thank you again.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you, Monty and Khalees.
You can get tickets and information for all of the Fab Passion Week events today and tomorrow at fpfwne.com.
Rival Galaxies join us for Live Music Friday, and we'll hear about performances that are built around a series of paintings in Northampton when we speak with Cesar Alvarez and Emily Orling about how to bear the unbearable body at APE Gallery.
But first, a toast of goodbye to one space, hello to another, and a whiskey tasting all rolled in one for this week's Thunderdome at Provisions.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by the UMass 5 College Credit Union, dedicated to creating access to financial well-being for local people, businesses, and communities. Insured by NCUA, umass5.coop.
No wine Thunderdome today, but a whiskey Thunderdome, changing it up at Provisions in Northampton for our last Provisions Craft Avenue tasting.
Whiskey River, take my mind.
Provisions is moving after the whiskey tasting. And we're with Benson Hyde and Bruce McCamus. Bruce?
We're open here at Crafts Avenue through Saturday, and then we're closed, and we will reopen in Thorns on the 31st, Friday the 31st.
Halloween, the latest. How is the initial transition going? You haven't really started moving yet.
A little excited,
Yeah.
a little scared.
The moving is going to be horrendous, but once we're there, we're excited to be there.
Have you heard buzz about being in the building you're moving into? In case people don't know, you're moving into Thorns.
Yeah, into the old cornucopia space, right above the old Dynamite record space. Everything is an old space, in my mind.
A lot of history in that space.
Yeah. It's an icon. It's a linchpin for making Northampton the Northampton that it's been.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to getting over there.
We hope we can live up to the space.
Meanwhile, you've got your Longmeadow space, and you've got your North Amherst space, which is where the whiskey tasting is going to be happening tomorrow.
Yeah, we have a bunch of whiskeys that are going to be open from all over the world. We have our first session from 2 to 3:30 and a second session from 4 to 5:30.
We don't talk about whiskey a lot on the show. We've tried to educate people in little bits about things about wine, but there are interesting things to know about whiskey too, which is the first exciting thing for me, always has to do with spelling. Sometimes it's W-H-I-S-K-Y, and sometimes it's W-H-I-S-K-E-Y. Even I've heard several different incarnations about who uses what, when, and why.
And who's allowed to use just the Y instead of the EY?
Or is there an allowed? That's where the experts come in. What do you think, Benson and Bruce? What do you hear about the spelling conundrum?
The Irish, I think, were the first ones to add the E to differentiate themselves from the Scotch, because they make very different whiskeys.
Yes. Scotch is whiskey, but only whiskey from Scotland.
Exactly.
It's the champagne of whiskey.
In the same way that, like, bourbon is a very distinct type of whiskey. Bourbon is still whiskey, but not all whiskeys are bourbon.
But only from the U.S., but not only from Tennessee.
From
Kentucky,
Yeah,
I mean,
Kentucky. Because Tennessee has Tennessee whiskey, which is a different...
But bourbon can be from anywhere in the U.S. with corn, I'm pretty sure. See, we don't even know.
One of the things we're going to be tasting is bourbon from Portland, Oregon.
See, because I think bourbon only has to be...
Tell the people in Kentucky.
Well, I'm sure that they don't like it. It has about a 51% corn. Is that what it is?
Correct.
Okay. But back to the whiskey with the E. Whiskey with just Y, Scotland. whiskey with E, Ireland. Now we bring it to this continent.
Yeah, and the U.S. kept the E, and then the Japanese went with no E. And that's partly because I think the original Japanese folks who were starting to make the whiskeys were studying in and emulating a lot of the Scotch whiskeys.
And Canada.
And Canada.
I forget what they do.
They have an E.
They have an E.
Who knows what they're doing up there right
Yeah,
now?
their bacon is weird. Everything's weird. What are we going to taste here at Provisions for the last time on Crafts Avenue in Northampton?
First one up is from Freeland Spirits. It's a bourbon whiskey that is produced in Oregon. Her distillery is downtown Portland.
Put a bird on it!
The woman who is behind this whiskey, the story is she was sitting and sipping some whiskey with one of her good gal pals. They both worked in agriculture. Her friend raised cows, but was like, if you want to make whiskey, I'll grow your grain for you. And so that was sort of how this idea was born. And her major effort with this distillery is to promote women in the industry up and down the supply chain. So it's sourcing from women producers and empowering women up the supply chain as well. The other theme here that we're kind of running with, since it is the wine Thunderdome sort of, both of these whiskeys have wine influence. And so this whiskey is finished in Pinot Noir barrels just to give it some of that terroir from the Willamette Valley.
Well, that's fun, because that's where my favorite U.S. Pinot Noir comes from. The bottle is also really cool. It's kind of teardrop shaped.
And it's got an anchor on it.
Who doesn't want an anchor tattoo?
That's real.
I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
I am gonna be the terrible person who asks for water.
Because you like to crack it?
No, so when you taste whiskey straight, you get one thing, but water is an important component in imbibing spirits. It opens a lot of the other secondary flavors that happen, especially in whiskey.
Which I believe is called cracking it, right?
Is it cracking it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Is it blooming? I always called it blooming.
A Scottish person told me that once a long time ago, so that's why I always say it with a little bit of a
crack the bloom?
You crack the bloom.
Crack it.
Release the Kraken!
So I'm gonna be that dorky person who's like, can I have water, please?
Some people actually pour a little in. I usually dip my finger in and let a little drop go, and then you can watch the oil and the water not mix. Then some more of the smells will come out of it. But definitely smells whiskey-y right now. It's light in color.
It smells apple-y.
'Tis the season. Are you a big whiskey guy, Bruce?
I like a wee dram now and then.
We're going so Scottish right now.
With Bruce McCain.
Yeah, come on, right?
Move that melon of yours and get the paper if you can.
These jokes kilt in Scotland.
Crack away, you guys.
Is it esters? That's what it is,
Yeah.
right? The different kind of chemical reaction and the smells at the different times. Like some people will start to smell banana and things like that when they crack it.
Again, it's got that appley smell. It's got a bunch of toffee on the palate. But it's a bourbon, so that's to be expected. You're supposed to get like those caramelly, vanilla-y things happening.
And bourbon to me oftentimes is a sweeter type of whiskey. A lot of people who drink scotch, they have peaty or smoky type whiskeys. I think it's because it's mostly corn, and corn is used as a sweetener.
Yeah, that's why Americans love their bourbon.
Putting water in this changed the bouquet to lilies.
It moves it in a more sort of floral and it's less toffee.
Okay, whiskey number one more time.
Is the Freeland Spirits bourbon whiskey.
Teardrop shaped bottle. It would be a fun gift to give too, because it looks like perfume or magic might come out of it.
I think magic does come out of it. You don't know until you get to the bottom of the bottle, though.
Who knows what spirits will come out of this spirit?
Phenomenal cosmic power!
Itty bitty living space.
Freeland it's named after her Meemaw Freeland. So it's named after her grandmother, who believed that women could do anything.
I love that. Whiskey women. Okay.
All right.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller.
You wish you had a girl who looked good, you would call her?
Wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat.
I literally had that song in my head this morning. I don't know why. Maybe it was a portent of what was to come. But baller is the name of this. Ooh, it smells way different immediately.
You wish you had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and a 6.4. Oh, wow.
We're staying on the West Coast, so these guys are in California, I think outside of San Francisco. This whiskey came about because right near the distillery is a ramen joint, and they all really love this ramen joint. And so they make a number of spirits that sort of have a nod or began being sold at the ramen joint.
Talk about the rise of the Japanese whiskey world, which I didn't really know was a thing until I watched Lost in Translation. And there was Bill Murray doing fake ads for a real whiskey company that's huge.
For relaxing times, make it Suntory time.
Suntory time.
I mean, it's one of the many Meiji imports.
So talk about what you know about the rise of whiskey in Japan.
Well, I was just there earlier this year and was visiting a number of the whiskey producers. And a lot of these whiskey producers are folks that were doing sake. Sake is decreasing in popularity. Whiskey is taking off in Japan. A lot of these producers were sort of pivoting, and the highball is a huge drink over there.
Yeah. But they're making now some of the
Incredible,
great whiskeys of the world.
So yeah, and I think that's one of the things that the Japanese do is they see what you're doing, and then they do it the best. Yeah.
Until it's as perfect as they think it could be, and then they continue to obsess about it.
Yes, that's one of the things that I find in drinking Japanese whiskeys is they are so balanced and elegant and just so well crafted. However, this is not a Japanese whiskey, still very well crafted. And one of the things that they're doing here is they're aging this in a combination of American oak and French wine casks. Mm-hmm. And then they're finishing it in umeshu casks, and that's sort of that nod to the Japanese. So the ume is that really tart plum.
Yeah, maybe that's because this one to me is so much fruitier than the other one. And maybe it is that tart plum plus the grapes in the barrels that they used.
Like, now that you said it, it's Asian umeshu, like, this nose makes so much more sense. I'm like, it's salty, but it's like also salty like a space side, but also kind of not. Like, what's happening?
If you could smell umami, it's what I'm kind of getting from this. I don't even know if that's a thing.
The smoke that you're getting here is they actually put it through a maple charcoal to filter it and to give it a little bit of that smoky peat without doing peat.
Without the bloom, it is smoky.
And the label on this one, it's more traditional looking, almost like a Scotch bottle, but the label has some cross between what feels like Art Deco and ancient Japanese art, and it's very cool looking too. What do you think there, Bruce?
A little iodine, like mid-palate.
It tastes even more like plum wine when you put a little bit of water in.
Yeah.
Like, it really starts tasting like umeshu.
I bet you if I were to blind taste these two, I would definitely know the first one was whiskey and probably even bourbon. This one would confound me.
And I probably would end up guessing shochu. Shochu is a sweet potato spirit from Japan and Korea, but this is all plums.
Oh, one other note about this is it is 100% barley, and it's locally sourced. So I think one of the things that they're leaning into here is sourcing as locally as they can.
That's kind of the whole theme of this show, so we love that.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the whiskey tasting tomorrow, again in North Amherst.
Yeah, so we're going to have representation from all over the place. We'll have some French whiskeys. We'll have some Basque, Spanish whiskeys. We'll have
I don't believe I've ever had one of those.
There are not a ton of them. So yeah, we'll have a bunch of obscurities.
Yeah.
We have a really cool new Tennessee whiskey producer that I'm excited about. We will have, of course, a bunch of different bourbons. We will have a bunch of different scotches. We'll have some Irish whiskeys, of course, some Japanese whiskeys.
For relaxing times.
Adding the water takes the smoke down quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. It really just washes that smoke into fruit.
To me, it smells like once you crack it and it diminishes the big smoke. It was almost a little bit off-putting, I think, at first.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it was. It now smells like a s'more, like sweet and graham crackery, and also, but a little bit of fire, like you just made a s'more on the campfire.
Yeah, I was going to say vanilla yogurt.
This is what's fun about chemical reactions.
After tasting the Baller, going back to the Freeland, it feels way more fruity.
It's got deeper sugar, so that kind of implies a little bit of booziness. Like, this is butterscotch, so that seems like a little boozy.
It's like a Werther's original from your alcoholic grandfather.
What else would I give my little grandson?
I mean, I do associate Werther's original with my grandmother.
Totally. They also had those commercials in the 80s where they were really like, they were trying to really hit it hard.
It's grandma candy, but also I love it, so like, whatever.
I haven't had one probably since the 90s.
My grandmother passed.
You know what I'm going to do? Halloween, next week. Come to my house.
Oh, wow.
All Werther's original
Werther's.
kids.
Oh my God. Whose grandma lives here?
My Werther's original.
Have you ever put them into Rice Krispies?
No.
Yeah, you melt them along with the butter and then throw your
In Rice Krispie treats?
In Rice Krispie treats.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that's good.
Yeah,
trouble.
because you can use them basically as like caramel.
Love it.
I feel like that would be a great pairing with these whiskeys.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Sure. It's the Whiskey Thunderdome today because there is a whiskey tasting in North Amherst Provisions tomorrow where there'll be whiskeys from all over the world. And we will choose between this bourbon from Oregon and from right down the street, this whiskey called Baller from near San Francisco. Both of these, though, to keep in the Wine Thunderdome theme, have been aged to a certain extent in wine barrels. Anybody ready to vote?
Let's throw it to Bruce first.
Bruce!
I'm going to go with the baller.
Baller.
Freeland.
Baller! Oh, the Japanese-influenced San Francisco whiskey, single malt, which again means what for people who see that but might not understand what it means?
Just 1 grain. It's 100% barley.
So weird. I haven't tasted a whiskey quite like that, and I love having experiences that I've never had before, so that was really fun. And the amount that it changed from just Khalees's good idea of remembering to get a little water and crack it, and changed it dramatically.
This is such a neat journey.
And good luck with the move, which begins shortly, but open in the new location in Thorns. Fingers crossed by Halloween.
No matter what.
Come to my house, get some Werther's Original trick-or-treating, and then go over to Provisions, Northampton, which will be in Thorns.
Pour you some whiskey.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had
A girl who looked good, I would call her. Wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and a 6'4" Impala. Get tickets to either sessions of Provisions Whiskey Festival happening at their Mill River location in Amherst on October 25th by heading to provisionswine.com. And we wish them a smooth, injury-free move into Thorns.
Live Music Friday brings the synthy dance sounds of rival galaxies into the studio, but before that we'll hear about the music that gets made to bring people into a painting's presence with the APE Gallery exhibit, How to Bear the Unbearable Body.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by the UMass Amherst School of Public Policy, offering in-person and online graduate programs in public policy and data analytics. Admissions now open at umass.edu/SPP.
A series of performances taking place at APE Gallery this month, created by composer, lyricist, and playwright Cesar Alvarez and painter and performer Emily Orling. It's called Spirits Go Blah.
That's the theater company.
They are the founders of Spirits Go Blah, the theater company. The pair's work has been shown across the country, from Lincoln Center to Mass Mocha to Jacob's Pillow to a long-running off-Broadway production.
The two now live in Belchertown and are focusing on making work locally. Emily has opened a show of massive oil paintings entitled How to Bear the Unbearable Body at APE on Main Street and doing a series of performances on Fridays through next week. The pair has been staging different performances in this space, ranging from a reading of one of Cesar's new musicals featuring a cast of local actors to an intimate performance of Cesar and Emily's work Egg, which debuted at Lincoln Center in 2024.
You come highly recommended by one of our friends, saying that you are absolutely an incredible performing artist and that you're relatively new to the Valley. So what brings you here to the 413, Emily and Cesar? Emily?
Well, I have been dreaming of having a show of my paintings for a very, very long time. I've been kind of out of the art scene since having 3 kids. And then in the last couple of years, as we developed Egg, and that the story of Egg is so much about me choosing to be a mom over making my art, and then what it meant to have all the paintings rolled up, and then still sort of making my art, but feeling really sort of out of communication with the larger world. And then through the process of Egg, we were projecting images of my paintings and talking about my work and talking about Cesar's work and the intersections. And in that, we created this piece of work, which then put me in a different position in my career where I actually had documentation of my creative practice. It's really a dream from the very first time, probably like in the pandemic, I had passed through APE Gallery. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be amazing to have a show in a gallery like this? Like, and then moving here, it was like just a dream location to be close to home, to be able to be like seated in the community, to be able to have it be a way to make community in this place where we felt kind of new and untethered, and to kind of like plant ourselves here. So
to lay your own egg.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, make a nest.
It's interesting that you know that somebody who brought this work to Lincoln Center goes by the APE Gallery on Main Street in Northampton is like, this is the dream.
Well, I think that we are sort of permanent outsiders in theater because we're coming with a really experimental framework, and we also make musicals. And musical theater is this incredibly wacky space that is simultaneously utterly absurd and also really dominated by a commercial conversation. And so in our work, we're making work that's really non-normative.
I wrote a song once
And when I sang it, every egg broke, every egg within 100 miles. And we've always been in this struggle where we really want our work to be in great big theaters. And also when we make it in great big theaters, we lose a lot of control. What's so extraordinary about APE is they've given us the keys to the gallery. And they say, make your work, do whatever you want to do. We trust you. You're the artist. And that is the DIY ethic that we came up in as artists, as young artists in New York. And it's been this incredible opportunity as now kind of mid-career artists, as parent artists, to get to go back to that way of making, which is throw it in the minivan and set up the mics and share our work exactly on our own terms.
With Cesar's creative process, like we had done a lot of these like DIY, like, you know, makers space types of iterations of their musicals where we had a ton of freedom, and then we slowly brought them to more professional, how do you say it, but like a wider audience where there's like a huge producerial engine and like a ton of money and people involved. And that has taken decades. And because I had some solo shows in New York City when I was really young, but because I had sort of stopped doing that, it feels really right to start kind of at this beginning in a place like this that's so, their values are all about nurturing artists and community building. It's not a commercial engine that's like focused. It just feels like a really safe place to make the work.
And we ended up in Western Mass because I work at Dartmouth College, and we really wanted to be basically halfway between New York City and Dartmouth. I joke, we kind of put a pin in a map and we said, where's a place that we can be, that we can nurture our art, and our kids are going to be able to have access to good schools, and we can be geographically in the right place to make all these things happen.
And isn't it funny that there's a town called Belchertown?
Yeah, here we are.
There's a toss-up between that
Belchertown.
and Athol.
Thus speaketh the stomach.
We love that. And here we are in Belchertown. But, you know, like when you move to a new place, you actually have to do the work of meeting folks, showing up, seeing what's happening. And it's been about a year, you know, it's been a little over a year. And this is our first time of saying, okay, we've been sort of in hiding, unpacking boxes. And this is our first time of saying, here we are, we live here now. We make these giant musicals. Emily makes these giant paintings. We're in this lifelong collaboration together, creating all this multidisciplinary work. And here, want to share some of it?
I love it. You've already got the ethos of the art scene down here in the 413, I think. And we are speaking with Cesar Alvarez and Emily Orling, who are the co-founders of Spirits Go Blah Theater Company, newly transplanted to Belchertown.
So this exhibit includes like a 4-piece residency at AP in addition to showing the paintings of Emily. Talk about how each section of that residency kind of evolves as we go into the latter half of it.
Yeah, so we started just with a kind of foundational artist talk. We had talked about doing Egg, but we actually didn't feel like it made sense to do Egg again because Egg is so much about how I'm not in the gallery and we were in the gallery. So we felt like we had to have a different conversation. So we threaded together just a conversation where I'm talking openly about my process and the sort of meaning of my life's work and these paintings, and Cesar sang some songs that felt very much in conversation with that. And then last week, we did a table read of the musical Cesar wrote, which is called Painting Mary, which is about this 20-year process that I've had making this painting of Mary, Mother Mary. And it's extremely vulnerable and sort of intimate look at my process and our life and my mental health and all the sort of things that we've gone through in parenthood, and it kind of digs deep.
You know, I've been working on this musical for 2.5 years, and I first let Emily read it this summer because it was just still rough. And it's not really actually ready to be shown, but the painting was being shown for the first time, and we felt like what an incredible opportunity to read a musical that's about a painting in front of the painting. I always joke that I write musicals because I like how it makes people sit down and listen to the music. And I think there was something really cool that happened, which is a bunch of people came into the gallery and sat down and looked at this painting for 2 hours. while they heard the story about the painting being painted. That's just exactly the kind of work we like to create, which is these really intense moments of ritual togetherness where we get to listen and be together in a really different way than we normally do.
And
the
then
third performance,
I started a collaboration with my friend Katrina Goldsaito, and she's a writer. And the first day I met her, basically a year ago, we went for a walk together in the woods, and moms got dropped off the kids to school and go for a walk. And she told me that she has this book that she's been working on for 13 years, and it's the story of her sister committing suicide. And she doesn't know what to do with this piece of text. And it's kind of like something that's carried her through this grief and something that she doesn't know how to make into a book. And we talked about, we had like 400 ideas of different collaborations we could do in the gallery, because I really had a very strong feeling that I wanted to collaborate with other mother artists. And I wanted to like stretch out this opportunity to include women that I admire and respect as their creative practice, and to like work together and be in community and like have the experience together. So it was really exciting. I invited her and my other friend for next week, and she's going to be reading aloud the story, and I am going to be building an altar to one side of her, and Cesar is going to be underscoring the story as she reads. And it's really deep and intense. It's about suicide. And so that's the sort of the warning of this piece. Like, it's not for everybody, but it can, I think, be very cathartic and healing if that's something you're up for. It's very profound. It's a beautifully written story.
and I think it interweaves with the theme of the piece. The show is called, Emily's show is called How to Bear the Unbearable Body, and so much of the work is about the kind of agony of embodiment, and as that relates to caretaking and motherhood and just generally waking up every day and having to go through the process of taking care of and being in a body. And that's really the heart of what Katrina's manuscript is about. And so we're kind of using the show as an opportunity to create a container for this story that Katrina hasn't quite figured out how to tell yet. And again, we're loving the opportunity of the gallery show as a sort of disruptive container where we can put things in it that don't go anywhere else. And we can invite people in to have this ritual togetherness in and around art.
Well, yeah, and her sister's name is Emily also. And we called it Don't Cry Emily because that was the first thing she said to her sister when she was born was Don't Cry Emily, and that was how she was given her name because she stopped crying. And that's something my parents said to me too when I was a little girl, so it felt very resonant. There's a lot of like these strange synchronicities between us. And the fourth piece is happening. It's not happening on Friday because Friday's Halloween and everybody's a mom. So we can't do shows on Halloween. That would be insane. That's the kids' night. But we need a show to recover from Halloween. So on Saturday night, my friend, lifelong friend, I've known Fletcher Boot longer than I've known Cesar. She's like a soulmate. We grew up together inside of like the same art training, and we have like a language between us of creative practice and shared making. And Fletcher is an incredible sound artist, and so she's going to be singing in the gallery with Cesar, and I'm going to be alongside of them with, we actually don't know yet what I'm going to be doing. We're in a process, probably some altar work, but we're going to see. A lot's going to happen next week. It would be disingenuous to say I know exactly how my role will be. I'm definitely in all of these pieces playing a role of like authorship and standing sort of watching the work and seeing what it is. My background is not so much as a performance artist, so that's actually like the newest thing for me to be doing that, and kind of on like the edge of what's terrifying, but I'm trying.
Well, it's interesting that the gallery is called APE, which stands for Available Potential Enterprises. So it gives it that idea of we don't really know what's going to happen here. So it makes it more fun. Yeah. And we're speaking with two of the artists who will be bringing How to Bear the Unbearable Body and their theater company Spirits Go Blah to the APE in Northampton, Cesar Alvarez and Emily Orling.
And I think just to note, the gallery is full of these absolutely striking and very large oil paintings that Emily's created. And I think our impulse with all the performances is to really activate the paintings for people. And so with Fletcher on the closing performance, I think we're really trying to let the paintings sing and sing for them and help people hear the sounds and the vibrations that are internal to the work.
They're all different beings, children, humans, babies, and even a giant 9-foot tall monster is in there. And they're kind of creating a sacred circle in their sort of pain and their holiness and their togetherness and their hope and their honesty. And they sort of stand around the room bearing witness to the experience of being human. Many of them sort of carry these babies, which is to sort of carry forth this extraordinary vulnerability that we all walk into the world with. Nobody's not a baby. Everybody has had to be tended to be held, to be wiped, to be washed, to be fed for years of their lives. And then again, as you go through sickness and death and grief, to go again through that process of extreme vulnerability. These paintings are speaking to that, and they're honoring our humanity and the holy work of just being in our bodies. This care that the mother gives, that the father gives, that the grandparents give, and what that means.
I'm curious about the name of your theater company, Spirits Go Blah. Can you tell us where that name came from?
I can. I haven't decided if I'm telling people where it came from, but for us, what it's about is that our work, we really think about our work as a conversation with the invisible world. For us, that's a spiritual conversation and question, but our experience of talking to the invisible world is that it will come back very surprising. And what it says is shocking and a lot of times outrageous.
And funny and weird.
And so in our work, we're really trying to kind of open a window into what weird, shocking thing does the invisible world have to say about how it's going for us.
I mean, I didn't grow up with like any kind of real religion or like going to church, and Cesar had a different experience of that. But like, it's not, the sort of indoctrination and the formality and the kind of like way that so many of those traditions, at least my understanding from, I think, really just like understanding, like reading about them and not having necessarily lived through it, but cause such an extreme kind of duality and separation and shame and a kind of like good and evil. We're really looking at everything. There's a lot of space.
Well, our work is very non-normative and also very spiritual. And I think that's what the name's about. It's about noticing the ways in which the spirit world is kind of really bizarre, a bizarre space.
It's also interesting because it's Spirits Go Blah. So blah can be like blah, but then it's Spirits Go Blah, exclamation point. So then I'm wondering if is it Spirits Go Blah? Like they're trying to scare you? Is it a little somewhere in between? Am I reading too much into the name?
I love your inquisition. It doesn't have an exclamation point in my mind, but you can put one.
In all of our literature about it, for some reason, it's got an exclamation point, or at least in the little document we made here, somebody put an exclamation point on it. Could have been Khalees, could have been me.
Nope, it was not me. I did not touch this document.
Yeah. I think that it's all those things, and I think blah is such a funny word because it's a sound. It's a sound. It's a note. It can mean disgust. It can mean rebellion.
It feels like a bunch of ghosts like plopping down on a couch together after a long day and putting their feet up and smoking a cigar.
Ghosts take their bras off too.
They would take their bras off too, yeah.
I have two questions. One of them, for one of your previous works, it's mentioned that part of the performance was live ceramics.
Yeah.
How did that work?
I had a table on the stage, and Cesar had a band, and they were playing music, this full album, and I started the show by throwing a slab, so it really like made a sort of slamming sound on the table, which I think was very cathartic and satisfying, because I'm kind of like slamming over Cesar's like beautiful music. And then I just started building. I built an egg out of clay in 90 minutes, and it was something I did over and over in rehearsal. So now I have a lot of ceramic eggs. So I really practiced it and kind of would be like, okay, you put, this part of the egg together at this point, and this song, you're doing this step. And, I learned sort of the track of building the egg alongside this music. And it was good for me because it allowed me to be in the show, but gave me something that was like really true to my practice and embodied and like a place for me to go into and express myself. And I think what it did for the audience is that we're all watching like everybody power wash their driveway on Instagram and like hot glue things together. And like, it's so fun to watch people make stuff, I think. And it's kind of like, of all the things on the feed, I think it's actually kind of soothing and good. It's good to see working with your hands. I think we need to get back to that. And I think to be in a room with someone making something is like obviously operating on a whole nother level than it is on social media. It's not just a little bite of it, but it's like a slowed down process. And I think people really responded to just watching my hands and watching me make. It was a really nice contrast to the music.
Cesar, given that it was pottery and that your spirits go blah, were you tempted to play Unchained Melody to try to channel the ghost of Patrick Swayze?
Boo to this question.
It's a joke that we throw around.
She doesn't work.
You throw it around? That's a pottery joke.
I don't use the wheel.
She doesn't use the wheel, though. It's like not that romantic to hand build. It doesn't have that same quality.
Yeah. I got play on the microphones. I'm sure you
Oh, dear. No, nobody wants
big no.
Big
microphones are a mess.
Yeah.
So this is a question with kind of parts for each of you, because in your work is a lot of ritual. Like ritual is kind of at the core of these experimental incubated works. And it's interesting, I think, especially because we're taking like the part of visual arts that is ritual, that is performance, that isn't always seen. The performative part of it doesn't get seen by anybody else except the artists themselves generally until the work is done. So instead, you're kind of opening that part of this creation up to the audience in a really interesting way. Was there an adjustment of that for you, Emily?
It's been really hard. And there's been a lot of like feelings of, do people want to see this? And what do they want to see? And how do I tune it? I don't think it's interesting to sort of do a trick in a way, like a kind of virtuosic move where you're like, ooh, it's cool. I can quickly like paint this portrait or something. Like I don't like the feeling of that, because I actually am way more interested in the process that is like the ritual part of it, which feels like really honest, where I go through this kind of very unplanned terrain where the work is talking to me and calling me to do things that don't make any sense, and I'm doubting it, and then I'm doing it, and then strange things happen, and then I'm undoing it. That's the part that I think is powerful to show, and is also, it's hard to know how to show that. With this show coming up, I've gone through so many iterations of what I was going to do. I was going to paint, I was going to sculpt. And then on Tuesday, we decided that I was going to make an altar. And today I'm in the middle of like rebuilding this altar, which is like turning into a very intense spiritual process. You know, I'm just like, okay, here we go. And, you know, not really even knowing what it'll be when I arrive tomorrow. So just like having to stay in that space of uncertainty and just trusting that, you know, my intuition or the guidance is accurate, and just taking the next step forward.
And for you, Cesar, like kind of similarly, we don't often see, I mean, like we'll hear music that is inspired by visual art often, but we don't necessarily pair it with that work's creation in this way. In similar fashion, what is it like creating for live art that isn't necessarily performance art?
I mean, it's so interesting. My grad school experience was in an MFA program at Bard, where I was working primarily, the cohort was mostly visual artists. And I came up in conservatories, so I was really new to the gallery space, and I found it absolutely inscrutable. I had no idea. I found it very frustrating. You know, sound artists that make these incredible sound works inside of gallery spaces. I tried to be this cool sound artist that was working in galleries and failed, and found it really frustrating. And I met Emily in the middle of grad school. So I had a consciousness about visual art without really having I didn't feel like I was able to work in the gallery space. And I think what's been cool is now Emily and I have been together for, 18 years, and I live in conversation with a visual artist. And so whether I want it to be the truth or not, my work is in conversation with a visual artist all the time. And Emily has so profoundly impacted my work. The minute we met each other, she started looking at the things I was creating, the album covers and the costumes and the little janky visual things for my band. And she was sort of like, why are you doing it like that? Like, do you know about composition or color? And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm just, I just taught myself how to use Photoshop. And I think what's been amazing about starting the theater company and really stepping into the truth of our work, which is that all of our work is in conversation. And so now what we're trying to do with this show and in the last year and a half in particular is we're trying to share that really earnestly and say, look, these musicals, they're in conversation with a visual artist. This art gallery show is in conversation with a creator of musical theater. And what's been cool is that people step into those spaces and they go, this is so weird and interesting and strange. And it's actually, what's just great is that it just feels like who we are. And the work, since stepping into the acknowledgement of our collaboration as it is, the work has just started to resonate harder, and it started to really connect, I think, because as we know with artists, the more intensely we're telling the truth with our forms, the more they resonate for everyone. And so that's what we've been experiencing.
Well, and there's this incredible tapestry between us of the stories of both of our lives, the story of our life together and raising 3 children and moving to, this is the 4th place we've lived together as parents and the 6th place we've lived together as a couple, and all the people and the really hard things that have happened over the years, like loss, and there's so much story. And then there's all these sort of these sort of mythical symbols and dream sequences and objects and images and songs and phrases and poems and sentences that have been peppered, that are just, they repeat and they come back. And there's a line in Cesar's song that corresponds to a tiny thing in the corner of a painting. And it's just this extraordinary weaving of our lives, how these mediums intertwine. And it feels very beautiful in this moment to be kind of fully in that and to be discovering it again together and to feel fully expressed in that moment.
No,
Emily Orling and Cesar Alvarez are the co-founders of Spirits Go Blah Theater Company. They are new transplants to the 413 in Belchertown, and you have an opportunity at the APE Gallery. Two more opportunities to see this interactive, expansive, and really interesting sounding work, How to Bear the Unbearable Body. Thank you both so much for joining us, and welcome to the Valley.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
But do you think that I...
Find information about and tickets for the last 2 performance components of How to Bear the Unbearable Body at apearts.org. But as they mentioned, the paintings making up the exhibit are available for viewing whenever the gallery is open.
And if you happen to like musicals and want to come to a Wicked sing-along with me, there is one happening tonight at the UMass Fine Arts Center. I will be both Glinda and Elphaba over the course of the evening.
With makeup. Up next, we'll get you ready to go party with rival galaxies in Westfield by bringing them in for Live Music Friday.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar in Hatfield, offering personalized solar energy solutions and ongoing customer care, proudly serving communities throughout the Pioneer Valley. northeast-solar.com.
Welcome back to the Fabulous 413. It's Live Music Friday, and with us are Rival Galaxies.
Rival Galaxies is an energetic dance punk group with a mission to excite and entertain. The band's sound is a combination of slick, new wave synth grooves, syncopated punk rock, guitar riffs, and massive, shoutable choruses. The band's electric live performances are fueled by its contagious party atmosphere, audience participation, call and response chants, and yes, balloons.
Rival Galaxies is the brainchild of its frontman, guitarist, and creative director Mike Fusilli, whose love of synthesizers and passion for creating electric grooves to move audiences was inspired by experiencing LCD Sound System live in concert during the early 2010s before they decided to scrap it all and leave music entirely.
Currently working on an EP set for release in early 2026, you can catch Rival Galaxies this Saturday, October 25th at Hutke's at the Nook in Westfield. And we welcome Mike Fusilli and NEPM's own Aaron O'Neill on backing vocals. This is going to be a nepotastic Live Music Friday with one of our own co-workers here performing. But let's hear something from Rival Galaxies.
You're gonna get what you fit. You're gonna do what you did. You're gonna get what you give until it all comes back. You're gonna figure a fit. You're gonna do what you did. You're gonna get what you give until it all comes back. Keep running, I keep running, I keep running till it all comes back. I keep running, I keep running, I keep running till it all came back to this. Sunset, the day is done. We pack our bags and we're on the run.
I'd go anywhere, I'd do anything, I'd be anyone. I'd go anywhere, I'd do anything, I'd be anyone for your love.
Count the days in seconds. Before we start to regret this. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Whoa!
I'd go anywhere, I'd do anything, I'd be anyone for your love. I'd go anywhere, I'd do anything, I'd be anyone for your love.
I keep running
For your love,
and I keep coming.
for your love,
Oh, I keep running
for your love.
and I keep coming. Oh. Count the days in seconds. Before we start to regret this.
For your love,
For your love, for your love.
for your love, for your love.
I keep running, I keep coming, I keep coming
For your love.
I keep running, I keep coming, I keep coming
For your love.
Rival Galaxies on Live Music Friday here in the fabulous 413. They are playing at Hutke's at the Nook in Westfield Saturday, October 25th. We're going to talk with one of the owners of Hutke's next week because that place is so fun and
That
quirky.
place is the best.
Yes. And Aaron O'Neill, your official title at NEPM is Director of Digital Engagement, so no better than getting involved in some sort of digital experimental music
Absolutely.
for your live performances.
So this band started across the state line.
Yes, it started in upstate New York.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's been going for like at least 10 years, probably a little bit more. What is this? How is this iteration different besides personnel change?
More technology.
Yeah, you've got a keyboard. Aaron has a bunch of like machines that she's in front of. I think you've got like 16 guitar pedals and a guitar on your back.
And there's also another thing underneath the case that nobody could see.
Oh, yeah, well,
you know.
yeah.
But you know,
We call this the band in a box.
Yeah.
a lot of automation, a lot of technology. So yes, this band started in 2012, and then we played for about 5 years, and then there was a hiatus. I moved out to Western Mass, and tried to reform this, wrote a bunch of stuff during the pandemic, had some new material, tried to reform the band, had a hard time finding drummers and bass players.
Yo.
Yeah.
I understand that struggle.
And I was like, I just don't want to sit inside and have all this music just to myself. I love playing in front of people and getting a room moving. So I'm like, how can I use all this tech and gear that I have to take this out? Let's use a drum machine. Let's like program some bass lines and let's just do it.
That's fun. What's the name Rival Galaxies come from? I'm a big fan of astronomy. We have an astronomer on our show every Monday. Mike Fusilli from Rival Galaxies. Just a cool sounding name.
It was a cool sounding name, and it had an X in it, which is really great.
I love X's.
It looks great on posters.
It sure
so
does.
you know,
I agree with all
graphic
of those
design.
things.
Yep.
I asked Dinosaur Jr. how like a quiz about dinosaurs, and they literally had no idea about dinosaurs. I was just psyched to be like, "Wow, let's talk dinosaurs with Dinosaur Jr." No, they don't know anything about them.
I mean, I do love space, and,
Okay.
and yeah, like you know. So Galaxies was cool. We pulled a bunch of words out of a hat, really, and just like mashed them together
It's
until
like
something worked.
the planet caught between binary stars.
Yeah, I'm actually reading Three Body Problem right now, and
It's so good.
It's
so good.
unbelievably good. Anyway, Rival Galaxies is what we're talking about right now, and they are at Hutke's at the Nook in Westfield this Saturday. Now, their songs are on the longer end of things.
Yes.
So we're going to do our outro and tell you what's happening on the show next week, and then we're going to hear one more Live Music Friday song from Rival Galaxies.
And quick shout out to Hutke's, who are going to have an amazing flea market on Sunday that we weren't able to talk about.
Yes, but check them out. They are very, very quirky. So
next week on the Fabulous 413, the next city on our election list is the home of Massamoka North Adams.
And we'll speak with both candidates next week, incumbent Mayor Jennifer Maxey and challenger Scott Berglund.
And hear all about a game show coming to Jupiter Club with Horrors of Bon Appetit Burlesque.
We'll learn about a special showing of Rocky Horror Picture Show at Wander in Pittsfield.
And immerse ourselves at a happening 5 at the Shea Theater.
Plus spooky, distinctly New England stories with folklorist Jeff Belanger and a way for you to pay education forward with a fundraiser for self-evident education.
And right now, more Rival Galaxies who you can see at Hutke's at the Nook in Westfield on Saturday.
We'll see if we get to the chorus, but we'd love you guys to shout back at us.
We're going to shout.
I disconnected. I'd like to set it back. They wrote that number down wrong, baby. Now they're never calling back. About a dozen other times that line would probably ring true. They keep us hanging off their lines with all the things that they do.
So much to prove.
Yep. I disconnected. I pulled the plug and wiped the tapes. I disconnected, just like going off that crib. I disconnect, no disrespect, we're too connected, and it's time to get away.
It's time to get away.
And disconnected, cause dis, well, that's the only game they play. So anyway, they keep on talking.
Talk.
While time keeps shoving.
Shove. Got it.
They keep on talking.
Talk.
And the time keeps shoving.
Shove.
Woo! I disconnected. Another kink in the plan. I disconnected cause we've come too far and it feels just like a scam. They might expect it and reject it, but I keep planning it and stay one step ahead. And disconnected. They keep on talking.
Talk.
And the time keeps shoving.
Shove.
They keep on talking.
Talk.
And the time keeps shoving.
Shove.
They keep on talking.
Talk.
And the time keeps shoving.
Shove.
They keep on talking and posting forever. And the time is
Shove.
woo! Get disconnected. Wanna disconnect this. Get disconnected. Gonna disconnect. I disconnected. Oh, I'd like to get away. I disconnected. It's such a hurry. And the time keeps shoving. Oh, they keep on talking. And the time it keeps shoving. Oh, get disconnected. Oh, get disconnected. We wanna disconnect this. I'm gonna disconnect. Talk. Shove. Talk. Shove. Gonna disconnect it. We wanna disconnect it. You know when they least expect it. We're gonna disconnect. Thanks, guys.